This is Joe Mullings with Unwinding the Headlines and TMG Pulse. Headline. So a mega acquisition goes down on the digital health front. We have Livongo purchased for $18.5 billion with the B people dollars by Teladoc. Now when you roll up Teladoc, who by the way, a month before picked up InTouch, now that deal cumulatively has been staked at $38 billion. It is now officially one of the largest remote patient monitoring entities. And this is just the opening of the game. So this acquisition with Livongo and Teladoc, it really is focusing on remote monitoring. And previously, when you talked about patient monitoring and remote monitoring, and again, this is about careers, designing careers and unwinding the headlines, patient monitoring was the less than, let's call it, clinically sexy operation in medtech. Now suddenly though, it's become a super interesting field. So now what we've done is we've taken these commodity products that historically have been blood pressure cuffs, glucose monitors, weight scales, and we've added a level of intelligence to them. And that addition of that level of intelligence to them, what does that mean? That means a lot of engineering, a lot of product development, a lot of data, a lot of UI, a lot of UX, a lot of patient compliance, patient engagement. And I haven't even taken it over to the virtual side yet. So as an example, the CDC has the diabetic market in the US for 2019 was north of 40 billion with a B dollars. They say more than 30 million people in the US have been diagnosed with diabetes or pre-diabetic and rising. So you want to talk about market opportunities. Here's what the telehealth does. Here's what digital health does. Simply, it raises a flag in a much earlier timeline than we've been treating patients previously. Typically, we end up having a patient entering the healthcare continuum in a catastrophic situation or a situation that intervention was incredibly intense, deep, and had a tremendously negative impact on the patient and their family's life. When you introduce digital, predictive analytics, and we'll get to it, virtual engagement, you get the chance to kill the monster when the monster is tiny. And the therapies, whether medical device, life science, pharmaceutical, tend to be a lot less expensive, less of an impact on lifestyle, and can head off a catastrophic event at the pass. Telehealth and virtual health, really what this whole Livongo Teladoc situation is. It's created a moment in time that enables these legacy devices to have sensors, analytics, software, and virtual cloud-based product development to be overlaid on, again, what were previously deemed as less than cool to work on over time. So the onboarding of those sensors, the virtual engagement. Now, virtual engagement. Interesting stat here out of an article. That was a big aha moment with COVID. And I think that the market then said, oh wow, this is not just a small piece of the puzzle. This is actually the future going forward. At the large New York Presbyterian Health System, some 4% of the outpatient visits were telehealth before the pandemic. That number has skyrocketed since, with somewhere between 85 and 95% of outpatient visits being conducted online. And similar spikes have occurred for chronic disease maintenance. I can tell you from the seat that I sit in and our firm does work in, the number of devices that revolved around patient monitoring and virtual engagement and digital value have gotten a lifeline. Everything from cardiac to Parkinson's to sleep apnea. This pandemic has doubled and tripled down on the I don't have to be in front of you for you to treat me mindset of healthcare. And this is not going to slow down, peeps. This is going to keep on going. The money coming in, the venture money coming in, and here's what's important. When you can take a medical device that is already in the work stream, and we don't have to go through tremendous workflow change or convince the healthcare provider to change their workflow or how they learned, but instead I add intelligence on board, and now I start to drop the cost, increase the quality of the outcomes, and give access as access has never been able to be obtained before because of virtual. You can start to impact the 19% GDP healthcare has on our system. I don't know if there's ever been a better time to be in the medtech industry with where we are right now. Keep your eyes on the market, look at virtual, look at digital, and look for those small techs that raise the flag and kill the monster when the monster's tiny. This is Joe Mullings, unwinding the headlines. Be well.